Hi, this is Chris from Black Project, and today we're here to give you some tips on how to build your paddles. It's really important when building paddles, you're going to use the supplied special hot glue and a glue gun. You're also going to need a good quality heat gun, and we use this to keep the glue nice and fluid and also heat the parts as we go along. One of the important things to remember when building one of our paddles is the correct alignment of the shaft, and you'll see that the B here is the closest end towards the blade. Our Tex carbon shafts are designed so your hand can easily slide up during paddle transitions, but give you great grip when you put power into your stroke. The first thing to do is plug in your glue gun. We want the glue to be hot, so it's a good idea to plug that in, get it warming up while we're preparing the other parts. So the next part is to mask off the end of the shaft, the blade and the handle. Good idea to get a good coverage on here. You're going to be heating up, there's going to be quite a bit of glue spilling, so we want to just protect the shaft. We're using some 80 grit sandpaper here, and this we're going to use to roughen up each of the parts so we get a good key onto the blade. So on the inside of the shaft as well. And then we're actually just going to slightly bevel the inside edge. This gives a better fit onto the blade. We're going to heat up each of the parts, and nice and warm. So when we put the hot glue on, it's going on warm and it's hitting a warm surface as well. Make sure we've got a really good bond. Good to use the end of the glue gun to just work it into all the fibers to make sure you've got a really good bond. Now we're going to set that aside for a moment and heat up our shaft. Now these shafts are baked in a kiln, so there's no worry about heating them up. Then while it's still quite hot to the touch, we're going to put more glue in there. Again, plenty of glue. Most of it will get squeezed out and cleaned off, so it's no worry putting plenty of glue in there. And twist them together. Pull it out a couple of times, making sure you get really good coverage. We don't want any air pockets, any dry spots. You can apply more glue if you need to. And while it's still hot, wipe off that initial excess, get it cleaned up. We're going to just make sure the shaft and blade are correctly orientated. So the Black Project is along the front of the paddle. While the glue is still warm, it's a good idea to take the tape off, makes it easier for the cleanup. For the perfect finish on the join, we're just going to heat up the excess slightly. And then use a clean towel to wipe off any excess. Now you've got a perfect join. Now there's not any need for tape, you've got a perfectly waterproof join. We're ready to go. First of all, we're going to mark off at 74 3/4, just like that. And then we're going to measure the difference that we need for the handle, because it's not where we want to cut. So it's a good idea to know how long the handles are, and we'll put all that information in the description here. With our markings on our ruler, we're going to measure off where the reduced diameter palm is going to be on this handle, on this shaft. It's just marking off there the difference. So that's where we're going to actually mask and then cut off. It's a good idea to invest in a chop saw and then swap out the blade so it's one that just grinds through the shaft. So you actually feel this is smooth to the touch. It's a little bit safer that way, and you're going to get a much better edge on your shaft. Now that we have the shaft cut to the correct length, as we did with the other end, we're going to roughen up the inside, take off any sheen. And our 80 grit sandpaper. This ensures that the glue is going to hold correctly, and we're also going to bevel the inside of the edge slightly again, so as we did with the blade, that means it will fit nicely snug on to the handle. We're going to heat up the handle before we apply the hot glue. This ensures the glue bonds nicely. for a waterproof and strong finish. A liberal application of hot glue. It's a good idea to make sure your hot glue is really hot and really fluid. You've probably had it on a few minutes by now, so it's going to be coming out quite freely. Quickly move to heating up the shaft. And plenty of glue inside. While the parts are still warm, you're going to gently rotate the handle in, squeezing out a lot of the glue. Pull it out once or twice, move it short, make sure you've got 100% coverage. Put it in approximately the right position and wipe off the excess. With the glue still hot, carefully align the handle and the blade. Just heat up the excess, and then you can wipe off any excess hot glue. Here's our finished hydro paddle, and one of the benefits of using hot glue is it's ready to use right away, and that's a good job because we're heading off to Maliko and we hope to see you on the water soon. Thanks for taking the time to watch this. We think it's very important that paddles are built in a specified way, and we're going to put a lot more information in the description below about how we actually do certain things and even some of the tools which we use. And if you have any questions, please get in touch.